Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Sebastian Ryder, and you tapped into another episode of Cut Different TV. And we got my brother in the building, man. He here to restore the feeling, bringing y'all Thug and B, some of that gangsta R&B, bringing back that old sound that we want to hear more of. You know what I'm saying? He here to restore the feeling. My dog Markiedeejr Jr. in the building.
That's a fact, yo. I appreciate you having me, bro.
For sure. And we appreciate you coming on, man. And it's your first interview, ain't it?
Yeah, first in-person interview, so it's a little different. So I appreciate y'all having me.
Definitely. It's a blessing. And he got the camo Scully on. He vibing with the babe on the feet. I don't know if y'all can see that in the wide frame, but
y'all could imagine,
definitely. Queen's in the building, man. So on Cut Different TV, what we love to do is just kind of get down to the thick of things, really determine what makes you cut different as an artist, right?
Yeah.
You got a new project out. You got some new connections that you've been making, and we're going to get into all that. But let's start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? The High School Musical, Mike.
Yeah. Nah, facts. So when I first was making music, this was 2020. I was in the crib, down bad, had a messed up ankle from hooping, and I was just listening to some early Roddy Ricch, you know what I mean? So, and I was just inspired. I was like, I ain't doing nothing right now. Let me try this or whatever. So only thing I had in the crib, I didn't have no recording equipment besides a computer, a Mac that had had GarageBand on it, and a PS2 High School Musical video game. And what came with the video game was a mic, like a USB mic that you're supposed to plug into the PS2, you know what I mean, and go along. So I just took that. I'm like, maybe it'll work on GarageBand.
It was like a Logitech type joint?
I guess. I think it was Logitech. Now I'm thinking about it, I think so.
Yeah.
So plug that into the Mac, and it worked for what, you know what I mean? It was horrible quality, but it worked.
A demo?
Yeah, just got some ideas out. And yeah, them records is trash though. It's trash.
I feel it. Yeah. Well, the sound has obviously evolved. And so you started off, you're doing the R&B thing now. And I feel like on this last project, you really started to kind of encapsulate that sound that you're looking for. But starting off, you started off on the melodic. You said Roddy Ricch was an influence, every season type shit.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that evolution of the sound and, how you've came here.
Well, early on, I used to listen to a lot of like you said, Roddy, Pierre Bourne. I was heavy on Pierre Bourne, and also this other artist, Day Lee. Now we cool, so it's funny. But I used to listen to them a lot, so that's what I was inspired by, especially even the way that they the content that they spoke about and everything. So early on, that's the style I was going for. It was the melodic rap. It wasn't really R&B heavy stylistically, probably lyrics and content wise, but stylistically it was just real melody driven, but with rap cadences and stuff like that. So I was really just trying to emulate them for real. But once I got into finding my true sound and what I was really going for, it transitioned to real R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so growing up, I would imagine you say your real sound, right? Finding that. I find a lot of the times you grew up in the church, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the times that early influence, that R&B, you was telling me off camera, your pops, Tank, a lot of that growing up, the 112, the Jagged Edge type vibes, growing up, that's kind of what you resonate with the most. And so you gravitated towards that.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that, the early influences.
Yeah, so growing up, my pops, on road trips, he'll just be playing a bunch of Tank, a bunch of Tina Marie, a bunch of that Akon, and just all them guys, like you said, 112, Jagged Edge, all of them. And I remember I just be in the back of the car, back of the Jeep, just I don't know what I'm singing about, but it sound good, you know what I mean? And like you said, I grew up in the church, still in the church. So it's my mom, so say on those road trips, my dad will have his time where he playing the R&B, and she'll have a time where she's playing the gospel. So it's all of that is just instilled in me growing up early. And plus, if I'm in the church, so as a kid, they got us in a kid choir, and you ain't got no choice. You know what I mean? You a kid, they just go, they go, whatever. So then growing up, you get a little older, you in the older, the teenage the teenage group's choir, then that's when you got a little choice, but you still ain't got no choice when you're growing up in church. So all of that's just instilled in me and everything. And then like I eventually started playing like the instruments and stuff in church, which I still do. So it's like all of that. I feel like once I really started to find my sound and doing like this music stuff, that I was able to call back to. Like early on, I wasn't thinking about like none of that. But like once I was able to start to really dive heavy into like, okay, I want to do R&B, then I was like able to go back and think about like, you know, certain styles, like listening to Tank, certain things that he would do, or like just a way that he would go on a track and like structure it and stuff for that way. So all of that really just combined into later on, which is like now and like maybe like the last project. But yeah, so all of that together just really helped define what I do.
Definitely. And going through shit as a man, we experience different things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Relationships.
Yeah.
Dealing with the emotions that come with that. So I would imagine early on, right? Like when you're first rapping, you're just having fun with it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to make music. I just want to vibe.
Matter of fact, nah. Like you would think, like so back in the day, like before, like in high school, I would do poetry. So when I was like, okay, let me go and try this music stuff, I went to like my old poems that I did in high school. Yeah.
And just reworked them.
Yeah. To fit like on the beat or whatever. So it was some lovey-dovey nonsense.
You been a lover boy forever type shit, or when did that become a...
Yeah. I guess. Like I've always wanted, you know, like to find love for real. But I know everybody go through their like Playboy phase and everything. You know, college that was a Playboy phase and everything.
Yeah.
But like I feel like after everything just wasn't working, like what I don't say it wasn't working, but like I wasn't getting what I wanted out of those relationships or whatever. I was really trying to like go into like I know what I want. And that's like, you know, a partner that like I can be with, that understands me, all that other stuff. So then I was in my real like lover phase, and I found that, you know, fiance over there in the cut. So, you know, we here now. So it's like all of that was in the music early because I was just I don't know, I was a little sucker for love.
Yeah.
So
As my pops say, sucker for love ass nigga.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, I feel that, bro. And so let's talk about this new project, bro. So Are Y'all a Thing? You know what I'm saying? 11 songs, straight heat. You got the visuals out. You got everything going. Talk about the creative process along with that, and kind of what inspired that title first and foremost, but then the music as well.
So Are Y'all a Thing? Like you said, like, you know, the lover boy status, like I kind of like to lean into that a little bit. So Are Y'all a Thing was really, the project was, before it became like an album, it was supposed to be like an EP, like 4 songs or something. And it was going to lead into a full-length project that was going to be called Nobody's Business. So it was going to be like a Y'all a Thing into, well, it's nobody's business type of thing. So I was like, you know what? We just have so many records. Let's make Are Y'all a Thing a project. So it's like the title really just came from just the whole notion of just being, everybody goes through like them situations. And I think I was probably just thinking about, you know, recalling some situation from the past or whatever. And I'm like, Are y'all a thing? That's like, nowadays, especially, people just be messing with everybody. It's always situationships. You don't know who talking to who, you know, da, da, da. So when you know, talking to somebody, you mess with them for real. And then it's like, you find out like, wait, you talking to who? Like, are y'all a thing for real? Like, what we got going on? So, you know, in the project, it starts off with the intro where like you talking back and forth with the girl and everything. And like, as you go through it to the last song where it's like fed up. So like a woman's fed up. So it's like, are y'all a thing? Like, what's going on? And like everything you mess up. So it's like takes you through the whole little journey of like, you know, a little situationship kind of thing.
That's fire, bro. I like that. And so one thing that I feel like these days with like everything being so microwave and you know what I'm saying, people just making shit just to make it.
Facts.
You do have people that are kind of coming with that new sound, like the Four Bats, the Brent, you know, artists like that are coming through with the more thug and beat, kind of bringing back that vibe of like, you look at them and you think they about to spit a 16 and then they hit you with the vocals.
That's a fact.
talk to me about incorporating that arc, that story that you've obviously done with this project.
Yeah.
Like, what made you want to do something really different there and make it a real piece of work?
Well, I think that's just like from the music and artists that I've studied. Like when you look at longevity and like the artists that, you know, like I said, the Tanks, and like they're still relevant to this day. And why is that? Like the way that they conducted themselves, the style, you know, the music, just how it's structured, what they're talking about and everything. So it's like you put all that together into trying to build longevity. You're not just here to hit like a viral song or a viral moment, you know? So when it came to me, I'm like, okay, I see what these guys are doing. Let me try and do that for myself, you know, and make it original to me. So like, I'm not trying to hit no viral song. If it goes viral, hey, that's all power to me, you know what I mean? But I'm not chasing virality. So I'm really just trying to make music that people resonate with, that I feel like it's true to me and everything. So when it came to these 11 songs, that's really just, I'm not really saying anything on here that like I don't believe to be like coming from like a true place, whether it be like how I feel at the moment or like just conceptually, like this ain't something that I would say. I'm not just saying this because I think it'll sound cool on TikTok. You know what I mean? So I really just study the older guys that's done this before me and just kind of just implement that. So with this project, I feel like this was my first time really implementing what I like studied from these guys and putting it to the test.
Fire. I like how you put that. And you mentioned getting inspiration from back in the days, and when you look at him, he looked like a old school Omarion.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him before we hit play on this interview, and I was like, yo, I was watching a music video, and I was like, damn, he about to bust out in some dance moves. But you know, to bring all that for full circle, you made a pretty strong connection recently. So tell them a little bit about that and what you got in the works moving forward.
So, you know, off of this project, I was able to make a real connection with like some OG producers. One, definitely Rufus Black. You know, he's worked with the likes of Omarion, the likes of Destiny's Child, Marcus Houston, Faith Evans, you know what I mean? So like getting that cosign from him was like something crazy. And like, you know, we've had talks now since the project. He heard Fed Up. He was like, nah, that's, you bringing back our sound. You know what I mean? So, but for the newer generation. So, you know, we had talks. We got some stuff working, you know, going right now. I don't want to say too much. Yeah. But, you know, we got some stuff that we working on and everything. And yeah, so that I feel like it's a blessing. Like from this project, just like people like that is noticing. And I studied like guys like that. So it's like getting that cosign and getting that love is like, okay, I must be doing something right. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
yeah, I think that's like, it's fire.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's fire too, bro. And so right now, the current landscape, right? Like we mentioned earlier, everything being kind of microwave. You've got some people that are still kind of, you know, well, let me not get canceled. A lot of people are still, you know, trying to put together those bodies of work, but then you got the contrary, right? It's a yin and it's a yang. What's your take on the current landscape of R&B, the current landscape of, you know, music as a whole right now?
Yeah. I mean, speaking for R&B, I think it's in like a fire place right now. Like you got so many like dope records, dope artists just coming out like almost on a daily. I feel like the mainstream stuff, it's cool. But I feel like if you do your, like you digging and you looking, like it's a lot of underground R&B that's like making waves and like it's really where the sound is going to go. And like even what I'm doing, like this early 2000s, 90s-ish kind of vibe, like I'm seeing a lot of other like newer artists, like underground artists, like kind of gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like that's going to start to make a comeback again. But I think R&B's in a dope spot. But music in general, well, I'll speak for R&B and hip hop because that's what I know for real. Yeah, you know, it's a little mid out there going on, but you know, I feel like I said, the underground, the stuff that's like right there about the service, I feel like that's where all the good stuff's at.
Yeah,
and you know, it's gonna make its way through. You start to see like little glimpses when it comes through like with the bigger artists sometimes. But
Yeah.
like my favorite thing right now, I'm not gonna lie, in rap is like sexy drill and all that stuff, like with like Cash Cobain, like R2R Mo and stuff. And you see like Drake did a sexy drill beat like with Cash Cobain. So it's like you see the little glimpses like the underground coming up. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. But yeah, music is cool right now.
Yeah, it's got to be, I would imagine you being R&B, it's got to be exciting. Usher doing the Super
he
Bowl
about
this
to-
year.
Yeah, you know, I'm about to go to the crib after
Yeah.
this, go see my son Usher like go crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's tough to see Usher doing the Super Bowl. I'm like Confessions, that's a classic.
Yeah.
So
How do you translate that to you doing confessions and then everybody lit watching their teams? Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden now you crying in the car. You step out the bar, you got to cry real quick because
Yeah.
Usher just reminded you of some shit from like 05, 06
Bro.
when you was in kindergarten.
like I don't know. I feel like Usher's gonna be able to translate it where it's gonna be like he gonna be busting moves up there to some slow jams and people not even gonna realize like that he talking about some heartbreak or stealing somebody's girl or whatever. But like he's just gonna put on a great show and it's gonna be like a celebration for R&B. So it's lit. I'm not gonna lie.
Definitely. I mean, hopefully he restores the feeling a little bit. Speaking of restoring the feeling,
Yes, sir.
RTF in the building. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about RTF, what you're building with that, and what your goal is.
So RTF stands for Restoring the Feeling. And, I'm just trying to push that forward, be like the head of that where anybody that's doing, they thing where it's like, it's not the norm in they field. So for example, like R&B, this certain style that I'm doing right now, like you don't see too many people doing it, so restoring a feeling that's been missing in a unique way that's, genuine to you, to yourself or whatever. And you're doing it well. So stuff like that. But anybody could be RTF. You could be a construction worker. You could be a painter. You could be a doctor. You could be, podcaster. You could be whatever. You could be RTF. So it's like you doing something that, you restoring a certain feeling into your field. I feel like, yeah, you RTF. So that's kind of like what I'm pushing right now. Got my, my community, they RTF and everything. So yeah, we trying to make that like a household name for real.
Word. And so right now that's more so a movement than like actual groundwork, right? Like, are you trying to turn that into like a label down the line or something along those lines?
I mean, possibly. Right now, I'm really just focused on community based with it. You know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
probably I have like a few people in mind that's like official RTF members, but it's really just something that like my community can really identify themselves with. You know what I
Word.
mean? Like you go to the shows, you see me out and about, like, oh, RTF, like, oh, you part of the group. You know,
They can relate.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like every artist has that thing that like where the fan base can really just identify with them in a certain way. So RTF right now, that's that. But there's a few RTF members. You got, Old Money Ski, you got there's just a few. There's a lot.
Yeah,
You got Yaz, Nia, you got it's a bunch. So it's like, we just trying to build right now and just trying to like make it a known thing. When you think Markiedeejr Jr., oh, you think RTF type of thing. So
Fire. Word. So you speak to the community element, right? Like having a movement, having a group, having something that people can recognize you for.
Yeah.
What does community mean to you? Coming from Queens, coming from this area, right? Like, what is that like growing up with those people and, kind of having them follow you along on your journey and also incorporating people in your journey as well?
yeah, it means a lot because like community is just something that as an artist, if you don't have like a strong community or a community in general, it'll be really hard to, do what you want to do in that space. Like the people that come out to your shows, the people that support your music, that share your stuff, that all of that, that's community. You know what I mean? And like when they show love, it's real because you're not forcing anybody to do anything for you. Like, so them coming out and just doing whatever, showing love, like that's so important. So like I always try to like show that back, let them know like I'm real appreciative and all of that. And like, the guys and people that I have around me that when I first started, they still with me for the most part. And it's like, you always got to show love back. Like, So right now, we independent and everything, but like, if it ever comes to a time where, labels come knocking and stuff like that, and I'm in a position to bring them on board and, officially and stuff like that, that's not even going to be a hesitation kind of thing, because they was with me from the beginning, held me down. And that's just real community stuff right there. So it's like all of that, it means so much. And especially from Queens, like, Queens get the money. That's what we do. Like, come on. But, I always got to keep that on my back, and like, who came before me and everything. And I don't know too many R&B artists that like came out of Queens like that. So I'm trying to like really push that. And like, once I like, make a name. So in Queens, that's like, everybody can rep that. Oh yeah, Markiedeejr, he came from out here. Like, that's fine. That's another way that community grows and builds, because they can resonate like where I'm from and everything. So yeah, community is like a big thing for me.
Yeah, community is a big thing. And speaking of community, go ahead and pause the video for a second. Hit subscribe below this little square that you're watching this interview in right now. If you full screen, hit the little 2 triangles that go like that. Click that red button, subscribe, like, drop comments. Let us know what you love about this interview thus far, and go tap in with Markiedeejr Jr.
Yes,
Speaking of that, man, I mean, you on Cut Different, so I got to ask you, what makes Markiedeejr cut different in your own words?
Nobody sounds like me. Like, I don't sound like anybody. Nobody sounds like me. It's so like, and that's not even on some braggadocious anything. Like, I just have like an original style and sound that I'm like, when anybody hears it, it's something that like comes across like, okay, what's this or whatever. So it's like, whether you like it or not, you can identify that as different. It's not something you heard before. So it's like, I feel like that's a main thing that makes me cut different. You know what I mean? And just besides that, I guess stylistically, like how I do things. But yeah, I would just say like how I deliver and how I sound on like a track.
I respect that. And you're bringing something new to the platform.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that. We appreciate the vibe. Queen's in the building again.
You know what I mean?
And so what, talk to me about, it's 2024 right now. Usually don't predate it, but I have a feeling that 2024 is going to be a big year for you. So I want to make sure that we putting that timestamp in. What's to come for the year? You obviously got the project out. What you working on now? What can we look forward to?
I mean, now, we trying to see some more shows for the year and everything. Trying to keep pushing the project. I just want to milk it for as much as I can, because it's good stuff on there. I don't want it to get overlooked by like rushing to put something else out and everything. So we got some music videos coming on the way and everything, and just more collabs with different artists, different producers, and all of that. So, we got a nice little thing going for the year right now that we trying to, accomplish. So.
Word. Yeah. And you kind of doing the New York circuit, or you did SOBs, that was your second show, right?
Yes, sir.
So are there any other venues, right, that you want to manifest or speak into existence that you want to make sure you touch?
That's a good one. I haven't really thought about it. I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't even know. Like, if anyone just reaches out and it makes sense, like, we did SOBs, like you said, for the second show. So like that second show ever, and that was like a peak. So it's like from there you can't go somewhere that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like once you cross that SOB stage, then it's like, all right, because everybody, I mean, Drake did SOBs, all these are like, you look at outside, and the funny thing is that shit stands for Sounds of Brazil.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Fact. So it's like Sounds of Brazil, and you got all these legendary like rap R&B artists doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's SOBs for New York. That's legendary. So like doing that for like second show ever, like that's a thing. So from there, I did pianos in New York. That's
nice.
That's up there like in the circuit.
Pianos, what, like LES?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then we did something else too. That was fire. I can't remember right now, but
all good.
It's just keeping up with that type of, exposure, that type of run of like certain places in New York. So, if anyone reaches out and, you know, like I said, it makes sense. It makes sense, and you know, we do it.
Yeah, what can they expect if, you know, some of the people watching this have seen you live, some of the people were at your SOB show, some of the
Yeah.
people were at pianos, some of the people are gonna see you down the line.
Right.
What can they expect from a Markiedeejr Jr. show that they can't get from every other artist?
Right. You're gonna get some nice singing, you know what I mean, obviously. You're going some of the ladies, they might get some roses. You know what I mean? Like you come to the show, maybe a certain part of the show, I hand out some roses and everything. Fellas, I'm saying this, fellas, please don't be mad. Like if I give your girl a rose, like it's all part of the theatrics. You know what I mean? Like,
Fellas get a do-rag or a camo Scully.
You know what I mean? Y'all get one of these, say Marky D Jr. on the side. That actually might be fire. You just gave me an idea. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, some roses or something like that. Just you'll have a interactive experience. You know, something where hopefully you leave and like you remember. I'll give at least a week later because you know people's attention spans is trash. But like something you at least can remember. You know, go back to looking on your phone and don't just let it like die in the archives or whatever. So yeah, I just try to make it entertaining. I'm not just up there standing, mic in hand. You know what I mean? Make it where it's where everybody can enjoy themselves and we all, you know, feel satisfied at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. You drink wine?
Nah.
Nah?
I don't drink. I don't smoke. I mean, I might take a little like on occasion when it comes to like once in a blue moon, it's a big thing or something. One of the guys be like, nah, you gotta drink some, bro. I'm like, all right, now leave me alone.
Yeah. Throw it over the shoulder type
You know
shit.
what I mean? A little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sparked that? Is that just something you've always...
Yeah, well, I guess that's being raised in church and everything. Like, it's always no drinking, you know, smoking, like all that, the vices and stuff like that, kind of just stay away from and everything. But, and just getting older and understanding, like, for myself, not just, you know, being raised up that way, that's one thing. But then when you get older and you learn for yourself and stuff, it's like, it's not really me. So, like I said, might take a sip here and there or something, but yeah, it's not my vibe.
What vices? Oh,
like,
sorry, go ahead.
Now you good. Alcohol, it just don't taste good to me. It just don't. Like, they all taste the same. Like, it might have a little different, depending on the flavor, whatever it is, like in the beginning, but like at the end of the day, it's just all my chest, bro.
Yeah. It's poison at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They say it's the spirits.
Yeah, I don't know what spirit that is, but you know,
The spirit. It's like some weird ass story, like the spirit of somebody, some woman. I saw some weird ass like TikTok animated like AI generated shit. It was talking about it. I was like, damn. I was looking at the bottle that I think I was drinking some Douce. I'm looking at it. I'm like,
yeah. See, if it ain't the Holy Spirit, I'm good.
Yeah, I feel it. What are your vices though? You got to have something.
Nah, bro, music. I mean, that's
it.
Yeah. I be chilling. Like, I'm a real homebody for real. Like, I go out when I got to. Like, if you know, we got something going on, like if somebody there that we gotta meet, I'll be like, all right. You know what I mean? But like for the most part, if I could do it at the crib, I'll do it at the crib. Like most of the time I record at the crib. Then I'll go to the studio and like get it mixed down or whatever. Or if I'm feeling like, oh, I want to go to the stew, but for the most part, I'm at the crib.
I feel that. Yeah. I respect that, bro. And you know, I like to ask this. We got to know what makes you cut different. You already told us that. So I want to know, like, for an artist that's up and coming, right? Maybe they're in that stage that you were in where you were recording on the High School Musical mic, and then now you making full-length projects with sequencing and themes and all this shit. They're in between that process, right?
Yeah.
What is one thing that you feel like you implemented along the way that allowed you to really tap into that full creative bag that they maybe could adapt?
Consistency, for real. Like, I think every year since I started, I put out, I think, at least a project. I know I put out multiple songs and stuff. Just consistency. Like, even if you don't drop, like, just for yourself to experiment, see what you like, what you don't like. You know, let your friends hear that you trust and everything, and let them give you feedback. Be receptive to feedback. You know, don't just think, oh, yeah, of course, it's the best thing in the world. And someone's like, you could have did this. And you're like, nah, they hating this. Nah, like, listen to what they saying. And, you know, take that, go and try and, like, implement it and everything. And just be consistent for real. because at some point, something's gonna connect. It's gonna reach somebody that likes it. You know what I mean? So I think, especially to be creative, it's like you just sitting on stuff and you're just like, eventually I'll put it out for the right moment. Like, right moment may never come. Just do it, and hopefully hope that the best comes out of it. And you keep doing it no matter what anybody says, and you should be all right. I feel like, even though it's like cliche to say like consistency, everybody says that, but it's real for real. Like, you just keep doing something, you get better at it, you just find yourself in it. That's I think the most important part, because you can be consistent and trying to sound like your favorite artist, but everybody already loves your favorite artist. Like, why would they go to you? You know what I mean? So being consistent in finding yourself and making what's unique to you and everything, and I think you'd be all right.
Fire.
Yeah.
Well, shit, we appreciate you coming on Cut Different TV, Markiedeejr Jr. And where can they find you at if they don't already know where they can tap in?
I mean, on all socials, Markiedeejr Jr., Markiedeejr, YouTube, everywhere, DSPs. Yeah, it's easy to find. So
Word up, man. It is easy to find, and when you find it, you will not be disappointed. Make sure you watch his music videos. You know what I'm saying? All he needed was a little bit of rain, and niggas would have been tearing up. So
next video, bro. We're gonna do some rain or something. I got to, just for the culture.
For sure, man. Yeah. For sure. Well, again, man, thank you for joining us. I go by the name of Sebastian Ryder. If you are not already subscribed, if you have not already hit the like button, this is your last chance on this interview. So what you think? Should they subscribe? Should they tap in?
Absolutely. I don't see why not. This is like one of the best platforms out here, bro. If they not, like, I feel like, what are y'all doing for real?
Yeah, I mean, you heard it from him, bro. I'm not going to say it again, but I go by the name of Sebastian Ryder. I'm here with my dog,
Markiedeejr Jr. Yes, sir.
And y'all just tapped into another episode of Cut Different TV. Y'all be blessed, all right? Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
That was it. That was easy. That was good work.
I was fake nervous.